Hi everyone, this is Marissa Malloy from your Honors General Psychology class, and today I will be sharing with you my research on the misrepresentation of mental illness in the media. The misrepresentation of and failure to accurately portray mental illness in the media has led to a crippling stigma in our society, and this stigma has overwhelmingly influenced the public's understanding of and view on mental illnesses. If any of you have seen the movie Split, you'll know that it centers on a man with multiple personalities, a condition known as dissociative identity disorder, or DID. After the movie was released, a psychologist in New York City received a rather moving email from one of her patients. The email read, quote, "There's a new movie out about a person with DID. It's a thriller/horror movie. Do I ever scare you?" End quote. One of the biggest issues with casting an antagonist with a mental illness is that this leads to the sensationalizing of a diagnosis. The media portrays those with mental illnesses as either severely disabled, unpredictable, and/or violent, although they are more likely to be attacked or hurt themselves than others. These people, due to their mental illnesses, are among those that are least likely to be socially accepted or become employed, which is a direct result of these stigmas. I would like to quickly define two of the most prevalent terms you will hear throughout this presentation. Each of these terms have many definitions, but for the purpose of this presentation, this is what I would like for you to consider these terms as. Mental illness refers to a wide range of mental health conditions, disorders that affect your mood, thinking, and behavior. And social stigma is the disapproval of a person or group based on socially characteristic grounds that are perceived. Two researchers conducted several studies that ultimately found that the superficial portrayal of mental disorders has led the public, who relies on the mass media for information about mental illness, to disassociate from, disregard, and be frightened of those facing a wide range of mental illnesses. Mental illness is very prevalent in the world we live in today. During any given year, upwards of 1 in 5 adults suffer from mental illness, and roughly 450 million people worldwide are currently facing a mental health problem. One of the ways in which the stigmas against mental illness are present in our everyday life is seen through our vernacular. Newscasters and headline writers often refer to those who commit violent crimes as psychos, and this very inaccurately draws a link between violence and mental illness for the public to see, as it fails to include other important and confounding variables that contribute, like substance abuse. The stories we are told in news headlines and in movies of those with mental illnesses are rarely done so in a positive light. For example, we rarely hear of someone with anxiety or depression having a positive response to therapy and empowering themselves, or of a schizophrenic individual becoming a loving parent. But we rather hear of those who go on killing sprees and endanger themselves and others. A researcher found that studies that link violence to mental illness are inaccurate because they fall victim to selection bias, as the subjects are typically either jail inmates or psychiatric patients. Here are just a few popular examples of the misrepresentation of mental illness in the media. In Wonderland, a schizophrenic man becomes homicidal and performs very gruesome and inhumane acts, including stabbing a pregnant woman. The protagonist in Monk has obsessive-compulsive disorder and his therapies are ineffective. And in American Pie, there is an emphasis placed on the idea that substance abuse and depression are, quote, normal teen behavior. Many TV shows and movies depict those with mental illness as individuals who live very bleak and uneventful lives, and this has led to an increase in the number of mentally ill people who live in isolation and refuse treatment. However, the National Alliance on Mental Illness has been open in criticizing these sources of entertainment, most popularly those with an ongoing theme of hopelessness for the character with a mental illness. While we may not be able to have much of an impact on how mental illness is portrayed in the media, we do have the ability to speak up and advocate for those that are directly affected by this social issue. For my final remarks, I would like to share the importance of taking steps towards change. When done right, this can allow for the general public to become more aware and accurate in understanding those individuals that are dealing with mental illness. There is nothing wrong with showing mental health in the media because the accurate depiction and sensitivity could lead to not only a better understanding of mental illness in our society, but also lead to the empowerment of those with mental illness and potentially give an individual who has been refusing to seek treatment the courage to do so. Thank you.